How's it going, everybody? So real quick, I want to show you my 5 favorite HE grenades for all of CS2, starting off with a nice little HE for Inferno. If you go right behind this little fountain here and do a simple jump throw with an HE, right above this little bolt, this bottom left bolt on the tarp, just do a simple jump throw. That's going to go straight down off that board and absolutely destroy anyone standing in this position right here. Tons of people will line up into this corner to throw mollies either for first or second oranges or for new box, right? This is a really good spot to line up Molotovs from. And as you can see, you can really do a ton of molly damage from there. So as a great counter for that, if you ever think that the T's have full car control and you have a teammate to make sure no one's going to walk up on you, you can just go right here and just do a simple HE grenade to just demolish anyone that's standing in that position. Moving on to number 4, I realize I've covered this a few times on the channel, but if you're ever stuck behind this smoke right here, in CT, you can come back into this corner, and right after you molly off the default plant positions, you can then just take a step with an HE in that exact same lineup, maybe 2 steps if you're feeling frisky, to have that HE land right on top of default to do a ton of damage. I rack up so much UD off this position, especially if the T's are just kind of throwing basic executes where they're smoking off CT. Generally, I'm kind of playing the mid-rotate position, so whenever those smokes start coming in, I'll generally get into a position right there, and we'll be able to just lob utility every single time. So it's really good to add to your repertoire. Moving on to number 3 for Overpass. This is probably the coolest feeling HE grenade to throw in all of CS2, but it is one of the more tricky because it requires some advanced movement. So basically, to break it down, what you're going to do is you're going to run all the way up to this trash can. You're going to jump on top of it, and all in one motion, you're going to jump on top. You're then going to jump off, and right as you're starting to fall, you're going to left click an HE right towards the right hand side of that bush. So I know that sounds a little bit complicated, so I'm going to go back here and I'm going to break that down for you right now. So essentially, I'm just going to run all the way up to this trash can. I'm going to jump on, jump off, and release my HE right at the bush to where it's going to land right here inside of T-stairs, doing a ton of damage to anyone kind of running up into this area. Obviously, if it caught a timing on where someone's running up like this, I mean, it's going to do significant damage to anyone in this area. And I love racking up UD by throwing this early round all the time on CS2 Overpass. Moving on to Anubis for number 2, I would say this is just one of the most important grenades to know for CS2 in general, because it not only does it get you a ton of utility damage, but it denies the T's a ton of space. So what nade I'm talking about, this thing's going to go right outside of this window, and it's going to hit the bottom of T stairs. So if they're playing fast A, you're going to do a ton of damage to a bunch of their players as they're running down. And anytime there's like an AWP or a rifle sitting around this area holding dark, or this little window here, I'm just watching for a water push, well, you're absolutely going to nuke them. So it kind of conditions them to not hang around out there, which is definitely a good thing. So it serves a few purposes, which is why I think this is such a great HE grenade. So starting off, you're just going to go right here into this little corner, and you're going to aim at, there's this kind of lighter portion of the tiles on the floor. On the far left-hand little point here, you're just going to aim right there, and you're going to do a run jump through the second you hit kind of the center of the stairs here, just on the middle. So it's, you know, you have to practice it a couple times because it's more of a feel kind of thing on the timing. You're going to aim right here and just do a run jump throw right about now, and that is going to go all the way out here and do close to 50 damage. Anyone along this wall here as they're running down the stairs, they're going to take significant damage. That's generally how I throw it. I rack up a ton of UD off of it, so I definitely recommend you throw this in all of your Anubis games. So finally, in the number 1 spot, it is this mid HE for Vertigo. I get the most UD by throwing this out of any map on CS2. My utility rating for Vertigo is through the roof almost exclusively because of this HE grenade. Anytime I'm mid, I throw it and will rack up so much UD throughout the game. Anytime that they have any sort of early or fast pressure towards mid, it's going to do a ton of damage. So all you have to do is right off spawn, you're going to run all the way up here and you're going to jump into this little corner all the way into the, wedge yourself all the way into the corner and just do a simple jump throw right at this little dark spot on the wood. And it's going to go all the way through this window and land right at the entrance here. So anyone standing around out here is just going to get absolutely nuked. I've had multiple 150 plus damage rounds with this HE grenade. I've had a bunch of 500, 600 UD halves just by throwing this simple HE. It is so good. So if you're a mid player on Vertigo, definitely throw this all the time. It's going to condition those mid players on T to really respect that utility. And as a bonus, you can super quick come into this position and do a middle click jump throw right at the bottom of this little bracket. That's a left and right click, and it's going to do almost the exact same thing. It's a little bit further left, so for this particular bot, it does a bit less damage. But hey, if you pair that up to where where you have a teammate throwing that and you're throwing this, a lot of times we'll just straight up get an opening kill by just throwing those HEs, because it catches the timing to where if the Ts are just running up through here, it's going to hit right as they're passing this doorway. It just does such good damage. I love throwing, especially doubling it up. Getting a kill off that at the beginning of the round is always just so satisfying. So yeah, hopefully all of these HEs help you get a little bit more UD in your next CS2 Premier match. If you have any suggestions for me, please leave them down in the comments below, because I love making videos that you guys want to see.